Hello everyone, let's discuss about the next stage, which is part of our gearbox design. Here we are going to discuss about the design of casing, but before that let's take a review of shaft and gear arrangement. Now here we have the rough sketch of two-stage gearbox. Here we have the three shafts, input shaft, intermediate shaft and output shaft. The first gear pair is the helical gear pair, gear 1 and gear 2. The second pair is the spur gear pair, gear 3 and gear 4, and we want this distance x. It is a distance between the gear 2 and in between output shaft. So as per our design data book, the distance between the gear and shaft must be greater than 20 mm. So let's calculate this distance x between the gear 2 and the output shaft. So how we can able to calculate this distance? Now see here, the CD minus of AB gives x. Okay, and what is CD? CD is nothing but the center distance between pinion and gear of second stage or second gear pair. So here we have the CD is equal to D3 by 2 plus D4 by 2. So D3 plus D4 by 2. So we already have the value of D3 D4 divided by 2, so we'll get the value of CD. Again the AB is nothing but AB is radius of gear 2, so it is D2 by 2. So x is equal to CD minus of AB. Now here we get the value of x is negative. It is never possible. We cannot be make the gearbox with this arrangement. So we need to increase this distance x, and it should be greater than 20 degree. Now if your distance x is greater than 20 mm, then no need to go for the further calculation. But if x is less than 20 mm, then we should increase this center distance so that distance x will be increases. And how to increase the center distance CD? The pitch circle diameters of stage 2 have to be increases. If we increase the diameter of gear 3 and gear 4, then this distance is ultimately increases and hence the x. So to increase the pitch circle diameter of gear 3 and gear 4, let's increase the module. Now first we have the module 6 for this second gear pair. Now we are increasing that module 6 to 7. So D3 is number of teeth into module, D4 is number of teeth into module, so we'll get the value of D3 and D4. So let's recalculate the CD. CD is equal to D3 plus D4 by 2. So we have CD is equal to 231. And now again we calculate CD is, x is equal to CD minus of AB. So we have the new value of CD. So CD minus of AB, we get this value for x, which is the greater than 20 mm. Hence this arrangement is valid. Now after the calculation of the x, let's move further for designing of clamping bolt and casing. So first of all, we are going to calculate the thickness of casing. It is equal to 2L3 plus B. We already done with this calculation of L3. In the design of the shaft, we have seen this distance of the bearing from the wall is L3 is equal to 10 mm. So let's take that distance 10. So 2 into 10 plus bearing length, or we can say that width of the bearing, is equal to 30. So the thickness of casing become 50 mm. The next parameter is the height of the casing. Height of the casing we can calculate in this way. This gap is, let us consider the gap is C, then this D1, then D1 is that distance, then D2 by 2, then here we have this distance, firstly D3 by 2, then D4 and then C. So we get the height of casing. So we have value of D1, D2, D3, D4. So we'll put those values. Again for height of the complete height of the casing, we need to add this thickness and this thickness, so it is plus 2t. Okay, 2cc is the distance of the rotating part. It is at both sides, so it is 2c. So we'll tell you from design data book, it is 2 into 20 plus d1, d2, d3, d4 plus 2t, and total. Hence we get, after calculation, total height h is equal to 847. It is approximately equal to 850. Then depth of the casing. Depth of the casing is equal to maximum diameter plus 2c plus 2t. So we already consider value of c is 20, t we have calculated, that is 50. So we get the depth of the casing. We will equate it with the round figure, so it is 540 mm. Then length of the casing. Length of the casing is total length of the shaft plus 2t. From here, let us say it is total length of the shaft plus 2t. So we already have the length of the shaft plus 2 into t. We have already calculated the value of this t. So we get length of the casing. So let's calculate outer volume of the casing and inner volume of the casing. So the outer volume of the casing is outer length into height into d. Let us say in this figure, if we are going to calculate the outer volume, then it will be consist the outer length, outer height and outer depth. So let's calculate it. Height is 850, then length is 290 and depth is 540. Okay, so we get this volume in mm cube. Okay, convert it into meter cube. Then inner volume of the casing, so it is LHD. In inner volume, what we are going to do, we just measure this much height of the casing. Okay, so from this height of the casing, we are going to only minus this term, minus 2t. So we get the inner height of the casing. Similarly, from this length, we just minus of 2t. We get inner length of the casing. So height of the casing minus of 2t, we get inner height. Then length of the casing minus of 2t, we get inner length. And depth of the casing minus of 2t, we get inner depth. Okay, so after multiplying this term, we get inner volume of the casing 0.0627 meter cube. Hence net volume of the casing is outer volume minus of inner volume. We already calculate with outer volume and inner volume. Only we'll need to put the value and get the answer for net volume of the casing. Now let's calculate the volume of shaft 1, 2 and 3. So volume of shaft 1 is pi by 4 d1 square into L. Length, we already calculate the length of the shaft. D is the diameter of input shaft, that is for shaft 1. So we have pi by 4 d square into length of the L. We get the volume of shaft 1. Similarly, volume of shaft 2 pi by 4 d2 square into L. Volume of shaft 3 pi by 4 d3 square into L. Total volume of shaft is V1 plus V2 plus V3. So put the volume V1, volume V2, volume of shaft 3, V3. So we get this total volume of all shafts. Then let's calculate the volume of gear. So volume of gear 1 is pi by 4 d1 square. Now d1 is the diameter of gear 1. So pi by 4 d1 square into v1. V1 we already done with this calculation while designing of the gear. So v1 is the width of the gear. So let's put the value in meter and get the answer in meter cube. Similarly, do the calculation of volume of gear 2. Pi by 4 d2 square into b2. d2 is the diameter of gear 2. b2 is the width of gear 2. Similarly, volume of gear 3 pi by 4 d3 square into b3. Volume of gear 4 pi by 4 d4 square into b4. So we get the volume of gear 1, gear 2, gear 3 and gear 4. So total volume of all gears is addition of all 4 volumes. So we get total volume of all gears. Now let's calculate the density of all materials that we use C40. So according to material we get the value of density. So this is the material for gear, so it is rho G. The C40 we use for the shaft, so it is rho S, and cast iron is used for the casing, so it is rho C. Okay, so let's calculate the weight of assembly. So it is nothing but the density into volume. So density into volume of all part of assembly, so it is density into volume of casing, then density into volume of gear, density into volume of shaft. So we already calculate the volume of casing. Here we multiply with the density of casing. Then volume of gear, we already done with that calculation. Then multiply with the density of the gear. Similarly, volume of shaft multiply with the density of shaft. So we get weight of the assembly. So we can able to calculate total load of assembly. It is equal to weight into 9.81. So here we get the value of total load of assembly. So let's move towards the next step, that is selection of eye bolt for lifting of gearbox. Now let's refer problem 7.1 from V.V. Bhandari. So here we have the problem of eye bolt from V.V. Bhandari, and they use the plain carbon steel 30C8 with SYT 400 Newton per mm square. So the SYT is given, so let's calculate the permissible tensile stress. ST is equal to SYT into Fs, then the size of bolt. So size of bolt is equal to sigma T, that is permissible tensile stress is equal to P upon pi by 4 dc square. P is the load divided by pi by 4 dc square. dc is the minor diameter. So here we already done with the calculation of total load of the assembly. So let's put that value over here. Total load of assembly P, that is 5925.098. Put the value of ST permissible tensile stress, then we able to calculate DC. So DC is the minor diameter. So D, that is major diameter or nominal diameter, is equal to DC upon 0.84. We already have that relation between the DC and D, so according to that we will put this value. So we get D is equal to 12.67 mm. So let's refer the standard table. So we have 12 point something, the value of D. So here the next value is 16. So we select the bolt for M16. So selecting of the standard size of the bolt, coarse thread M16. Now selection of clamping bolt for casing. So total load of assembly we have 5925.093 Newton. Let's refer the page number given for PSG design data book. So we get 12 bolts are used for clamping. So load on per bolt or load on each bolt is the total load divided by 12. So it is 493.76 Newton. So select the material for clamping bolt is C30. So SYT is the 400 Newton per mm square. Take the factor of safety is equal to 6. So we get sigma permissible is equal to SYT divided by FOS. So we get 66.67 is the permissible tensile stress. So sigma is equal to load on the bolt divided by pi by 4 dc square. So load sigma, we have calculated load on each bolt. We have this pi by 4 dc square. So dc is equal to 9 point something. dc square is equal to 9 point something. So dc is equal to 3.07. So we know that d is equal to dc by 0.8 or 0.84. So we get d is equal to 3.66. But comparing this size of the bolt with casing, the minimum size of the bolt must be at 10 mm. So as we select D is equal to 10 mm, so it is M10. So for M10 the pitch is 1.5, pitch diameter, that is DP, is 9.023, then DC is, that is minor diameter, is 8.16. so let's write all this value over here. So for M10 we get pitch, major diameter, pitch diameter and minor diameter from the table 7.1. Now we are going to also use the gasket for safety to maintain and create the barrier against the transfer and fluid across the mating surface between the bolt and casing. So in selection of oil seal, to prevent the leakage of lubricating oil through the shaft due to clearance, oil seal we can select it from type B. Okay, refer the page number 5.110. It is not from VB Bandari, it is from PSG. I have already uploaded this PSG design data book on Google Classroom, so refer this page number. So here we have the picture of that table, dimension for oil seal. So let us say for shaft 1 we have the diameter 25. So for oil seal dimension, nominal bore diameter of housing we are going to take 52. Then our type is B, so width is equal to 7 and the clearance C is equal to 0.4. So here I have written the oil seal dimensions: nominal bore diameter 52, dimensions of housing B is equal to 7 mm and clearance C is equal to 0.4. In similar manner you can able to find out the oil seal dimensions from the given table and just note those dimensions. So in this way we can able to design our 2-stage gearbox.